Sterling versus Holloway, UFC 300. Chael, what is your reaction? I hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate everything about the idea that you just gave me except for the fight itself. Sterling versus Holloway is awesome. Everything else I hate. Who campaigned for that? Did somebody bring this up or did you just bring this to me? Did somebody within that fight, meaning Sterling or said put us on UFC 300? That would be weird to me. That would be a very weird thing to me. You have Aljo, who's nothing but a main eventer. He was just a world champion. He's nothing but main events. You have Max, who is nothing but a main eventer. They are offering to go into a card and not be a main event. You're offering and asking for a demotion. I don't think that they did that. But I couldn't be sure that one of their managers wasn't stupid enough to do that. I can't. I can't be sure that one of their trainers and or handlers wasn't stupid enough to offer a demotion. Two main eventers that openly campaign to find each other and do something that isn't a main event. It's just weird. I mean, it's one of these things, right? Now, what else do I hate about it? Well, Max Holloway is without question the clearest number one contender that 145 pounds has or ever has had. And you had three guys for a period of time, Max, Colby, and Whitaker, that were obviously the number one guys within their weight class, but that couldn't fight for the championship. Colby had already done it twice. There has to be something different at 170 to get him back in. Well, there was. Leon, okay, great. No one can deal with Whitaker. Well, now you got a new champion, and it's not anybody he's fought before. That really helps, but he lost to Duplessis. Okay, fine. We understand those things. So then you're just left with Max. Max, the clearest. There is nobody that is more obviously better than the field within their weight class than Max Holloway. But your concern can't only be within Max. And your concern can't only be within getting the champion beaten to create some kind of new parity. Your concern also has to be operating within Max's success and the champion staying champion, finding a sellable and reasonable number one contender. In this case, they have. It's Ilia Topuria. Now, what does Ilia Topuria have in common that the other challengers don't, that the other guys in the field don't? Can you identify it? He never fought Max. You have the ultimate gatekeeper, which in theory, you want to get to a title fight, just go through Max, right? That's what a gatekeeper is. But when you keep on trying that, and he not only beats them, there's a gap. There is a gap between Max and the next best guy. It's very reasonable that Max could sleep in for the next and just show up on fight day and still beat the field. He's that much better. There's a gap. So if you want to get a guy to a championship match, much like Topuria, keep him away from Max. So when I tell you I hate the fight, when you have the newness and you have the freshness of one of the great 35-pounders ever who's brand new into the weight class, he's instantly a title consideration. Instantly. Then when you have the fact that you look at the usual suspects and they've all tried it, they've all burned out, boy, Aljo really starts to look like a viable option. The only reason he's not going to do it is a result of his last match. I mean, quite literally, the only reason he's not fighting for the belt right now is the result of his last match. To prove that, if the result had been different and he moved to 145, he would obviously be fighting for the belt. It's quite literally the result of his last match. Okay, fine. But if he's coming into the division, it's not just coming up to be one of the guys. It's not just coming up for good, hard matches that he doesn't have to cut weight for. He's coming up on pursuit of a championship. He's got to do the things to get him to the championship. Now, for sure, beating Max Holloway will do that, for sure. But it also seems like a really big risk. It seems like one of those situations where if you don't do that, you end up like the other guys, which is a guy that didn't do that. Or you can take Topuria's path, which is beat up anybody you can in the division and just stay away from Max. That's why I don't like it. The match is awesome. But breaking that down would be awesome. Trying to figure out and guess what Sterling's going to look like, and that is a very different challenge. You're offering Max somebody that he hasn't seen before. His greatest Max is, the hardest guy to face is from one weight class below. Everything you've ever been told about a size advantage, you've been lied to. The hardest guy to face is the guy from one weight below. He's just a little bit faster. And he's carrying just a little bit less weight, which means his endurance is going to hold up just a little bit more. It's a really interesting contest. if anyone within their camps lobbied for 2 main eventers to not be a main event, openly admitting that person needs to no longer be part of that creative control. And if Aljo's going up and his goal is to get the next best thing, can't get a title fight because of the result of his last match, so he's going to fix that. Beating Max definitely does that, for sure. I would just argue there's other ways to get to a title fight, like the one Topuria did, which is fight anybody in the world that isn't named Max. I'll just offer that food for thought. And if I had any choice, if you were just giving me the magic wand, I'll keep 300, I'll even keep Aljo, but I'll insert Brian Ortega.